super la gratia, que tu creasti perdona. Verbi diceris Paracletus, donum Dei altis vivir, hospibus dignis caritas, et spiritis salis nuntio.
When we speak of the seven sacraments, we understand this as instituted by Christ the Lord and entrusted to the Church. Sacraments, being the action of Christ and the Church, are signs and means which express and strengthen the faith, render worship to God, and effect the sanctification of humanity. Thus, sacraments contribute in the greatest way to establish, strengthen, and manifest communion in the Church. Have you received the sacrament of confirmation? It is just as equally important as baptism, Eucharist, matrimony, and all other sacraments.
What is confirmation?
Confirmation is the sacrament that confers the fullness of the Holy Spirit. It is called confirmation because it ratifies and strengthens the baptismal grace, making us mature Christians and soldiers of Christ.
What is the historical background of the confirmation?
The term confirmation originated from the Latin word confirmare, meaning to ratify. Since the confirmandi approve as adults the baptism they receive when still infants.
What are the effects of confirmation?
The sacrament of confirmation indeed strengthens the baptized and obliges them more firmly to be witnesses of Christ by word and deed, and to spread and defend the faith. By this, we are being enriched as we continue on the path of holiness, and we get to bind more perfectly to the Church.
Can we repeat receiving the sacrament of confirmation?
Just like the sacrament of baptism, the confirmation can only be received once.
Where can I find sacrament of confirmation in the Bible?
Historically, Jesus instituted the sacrament of confirmation on the evening of Easter Sunday in John chapter 20, verse 21 to 22, when he appeared in the cenacle and said, "As the Father has sent me, so I send you." And when he had said this, he breathed unto them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit." Another biblical scenario that can explain about the history of the sacraments of confirmation is in Acts chapter 2, verse 1 and 4, on the day of Pentecost of 33 AD. Well, early in the morning, as the apostles with the disciples and the Virgin Mary were at prayer in the cenacle of Jerusalem, the Holy Spirit descended like tongues of fire and rested on each of them. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in different languages. In our tradition, confirmation describes as the seal of the Holy Spirit. In ancient world, bear someone's seal or wear it was to be identified with the person's child or servant. Confirmation marks us God's own children. It confers certain maturity upon us and empowers us to witness to the faith, defend the faith, and live responsibly within the Church. All these are graces from God, and they do not depend upon our individual strengths or skills.
Who can receive the sacrament of confirmation?
The appropriate time for confirmation is the age of discretion. It is customary for the bishop to establish a policy for the appropriate age in a diocese. It may be appropriate if the one to be conferred is around the age of 11 or 12, which is the common age of discretion here in the Philippines. A person of any age can be confirmed if there is danger of death. Those who profess the Catholic faith and desire to receive the sacrament are also eligible for confirmation, and ideally, they must be in the state of grace, and they are ready to live as a witness to Jesus Christ.
What are the requirements to receive the sacrament of confirmation?
Each candidate is to have a sponsor, someone to serve as a spiritual mentor and companion. The person must be at least 16 years of age, fully initiated, actively practicing the Catholic faith, and not the candidate's mother or father. It is desirable for the baptismal godparent to serve as the confirmation sponsor to emphasize the unity of the two sacraments. The sponsor helps the candidate as a role model, a guide, and resource, and offers prayer, support, and encouragement.
When we receive the Holy Spirit, our weaknesses, fears, and doubts are overcome. This eventually gives us courage and strength to proclaim our faith in Jesus despite the trials and rejections. We have to remember that through the Holy Spirit, we are constantly compelled with the strength, courage, hope, persistence. We attain Christian life in fullness and become witnesses of Christ in words and in deeds up to the end. May we receive sacraments with the greatest veneration and necessary diligence. God bless us always.
Ostem